Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today we've got Krista Mashore on the show. Krista, welcome.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. What's up, everybody?
What's up? I was just saying before we hit record, I love your energy. I don't know how you keep it up all day, but we talked, the other day on your show, and you kept it going the whole time. And I obviously have listened to a couple of your episodes as well. And so I'm like, gosh, I love that energy. It just lights me up. And I think you said the same about me. So thank you so much. It's like we're always having a cup of coffee, right?
That was one of the compliments I gave you. You've got really good energy. And I love when people tell me that they like my energy. It's always a great compliment.
It's such a great compliment. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I've been reading through your bio and I'm just like, gosh, you'll probably explain it better than me. But today we're going to be talking about the power of video in your marketing, how you went from 0 to 20 million in 4 years, I believe. And that's incredible. Yep, you've won several awards that many of us know about. 7 2 Comma Club awards, maybe more by now. I don't know the last time this was updated, and 1 2 Comma Club X awards. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick for the audience? Got some really cool awards behind you.
Thank you. I don't have them up here, but yeah, we just started applying for our second 2CCX award, which is cool. So what those are, they're awards showing that we've done like $10 million for each award for the 2CCX. And so we have 2 of those, and the other one are $1 million. So we have 7 funnels that have generated over $1 million each. So
that's awesome.
And we did that utilizing video and social media and being known as what I call the community market leader. So, we teach people how to market to the masses and not just market to one. So it's marketing one to many and attracting business instead of chasing it.
Community market leader. Is that what you just said? Okay. Awesome.
Community market leader. Mm-hmm.
Community market leader. I'm writing that down. I'm taking notes. Awesome. So where would one begin? I mean, I've heard you tell people, hey, video is the way to go. We got to go with video, start creating stuff. Nobody's going to show up. This was a recent one that you just released. You're talking about no one's going to show up at first, and then 5 people are going to show up, and then 1 person's going to show up, and then 10 are going to show up, right? That's how it works. So what's your recommendation? How do we get started if someone's not comfortable with video?
Okay. So most people aren't. So if you ask, 100 people, if they like doing video, like 2 weirdos will say yes. People like me and you will like, oh, I don't mind, but it wasn't always that way, right? I've gotten much better at it. So it's just a matter of understanding that, when you utilize video and people can see you, the conversions from video marketing to just regular marketing are skyrocketing. Like they're so much different.
Right.
According to Orion 21, landing pages that have video get 800% more conversions, right?
Whoa.
Which is a lot. And, 99% of people start their home search online. Usually before people make a big purchase, they research about 179 days of researching prior to actually making that decision. Well, you're selling a home or buying a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life, right? Right next to probably getting married, probably even more so. But so people are researching, and the idea is that you want to show up when they're looking, and if they're thinking about you when they're ready to make a decision, it's too late. You want them thinking about you way beforehand. And when you use video content, video helps you develop what I call a parasocial relationship with people. What that means, it's actually a psychological term for it. It's a parasocial relationship. It's a one-sided relationship where people feel like they know you.
Yep.
They feel like that's like when you have your movie, you watch a movie and you're crying for the character and you're cheering and you're laughing. You've developed a parasocial relationship. When you create video content, it's the exact same thing locally. And so you become like a little bit of a sort of a local celebrity. So what I'll tell people is that, anything can be learned, anything can be taught. And if you take yourself out of the equation, first of all, we're afraid of what we look like and what we sound like, and if people are going to like us, and if we make a mistake and we're not perfect. Everybody has those fears, right? Just being yourself and being authentic and being, real is really, really important. But that is how you look. That's how you sound. That's who you are. You can't put a bag over your head throughout life.
Right.
So, right, Chris?
I love that.
So if I was to tell you, hey, we've been able to teach brand new agents how to overperform and beat out top producers in their market and do more business than the top producing agents in their market in a very short amount of time by utilizing video, because video positions you as the expert and the authority. It helps people get to know you, like you, and trust you. It breaks down their barriers, and people are going to work with people they like, right?
Yep.
So, it's just a matter of starting. And I know it's hard. I know it can be difficult, but it's just a matter of just doing it.
I love that. That was so funny when you said you can't go around life with a bag over your head. Because I just think of people who take pictures and they're like, hey, that's not my good side. Like they're trying to get that good side or whatever, but you can't really do that on video. And like you mentioned, hey, newsflash, we look like we look, right? Like we actually have to go around life and do this stuff every single day. And so it makes sense for us to actually just get comfortable. No one, I feel like you said, other than us weirdos like you and me, most people like, I hate the sound of my voice. I don't like the way I look weird on camera. What am I doing with my hands? But as you do more and more and more content, it becomes more natural. Like this is how you show up, right? I'm sure you show up like this in all areas of your life. The only difference now is that the camera's on.
Yes, exactly. So the thing about that's great about video is like you can video I call it views while you snooze, and video helps you win before you arrive. When people are watching your content, you're winning before you arrive, right? They're getting to know you, and if they're calling you, it's probably because they already like you. You've done half of the battle, right? You've got them to call you. They developed a relationship with you. I walk in the door and people are like hugging me, and they're talking to me like we're long-term friends because they've been watching my content. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I binged watched your content this weekend, because when someone's thinking about selling or buying, or I've had students say the same thing, I binge watched you all weekend, right before they hire me. That's what people do because they're making a large investment, a large purchase. And so they really want to learn to know as much information as possible. So the more that you can create content around the community. So people might be thinking, well, I don't know what kind of content to do, right? So there's a couple of hacks. Number one, you can go to answerthepublic.com, answerthepublic.com, and it tells you the most commonly the most common questions that are asked in Google.
Okay.
Around any other topic. You can also go to Google in the search bar and type in like how to sell my house, and you're going to see what comes up first in the search bar. Then you can take like those and you can create content regarding the questions that people are asking, and make it more local based. So you show up in local searches, and then you can go to the bottom of that scroll page on Google and you can look at related searches and find even more content to talk about. And what I tell people is anytime you ever have like something really good happen or really bad happen, right? Or anytime somebody asks you a question, write it down and put it in your phone. Those are questions to create those good things, those bad things, those questions are what you create content. Topics on, right? Yeah. Like Chris, if you're at a party and everybody knows that you're in real estate, what's the question that you get asked from everybody?
How's the market?
How's the market? Okay. So tell them, right? Like every month I do 2 national market updates and 1 local market update, or I'll do 2 local updates and 1 national one. Usually it's the reverse though.
Okay. People
want to know. And those are one of the most popular videos that we get watched. Then we create community videos. We'll go and interview a local restaurant and we'll do a video for them. Like we'll do like best dog parks in town, best places to go for sushi, best places for happy hour, best places to go for, a New Year's Eve party, best what are the best trails, the best hiking things, anything community related. Is there a new development coming up? Is there something controversial happening in the area? You want to be known as a community market leader. Anytime somebody thinks about their community or thinks about real estate, you want them to think about you. This works so well, Chris, that now, like this month, we're doing $50 million of real estate. Wow. And it's in Brentwood in Northern California. We don't have like big, huge prices here. The average price point is around $725. Our average price point is closer to $1 million because we attract a higher price listing because of the way that we market.
Yep.
But during in November, with no inventory, right? And all of those are listings, right? We have 11 pending transactions and all listings. And I have not spoken to one seller or buyer. One seller.
I know we talked about that yesterday. Yeah. Like, hey, I'll do you one better is that I haven't even been to any of these or talked to any of these clients, right?
Oh, I know. Chris is so funny. I'm like, you do it virtually? Like you live in a different state? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. He was actually on my podcast, Fired Up with Krista Mashore. And so I did one up you. I mean, I don't even talk to them. So my video content does the work for me, right?
That's awesome.
We've got they watch my videos on Facebook. I target people locally. I retarget more information that's similar to the information they originally looked at. So for example, if a seller watches a seller video, or I'll send more seller content. If I'm doing a buyer video that's getting watched, I'll send more buyer content. If it's a market update, I'll send more like seller tips, buyer tips, community videos, right? And we target people. So we're getting, 400, 500, 600 hours of watch time on all the videos that we're putting out there. We spend about $200 per video. You know, and I mean, it's like, it's so powerful. It works so well. And when we get to the listing, there's no competition because they already have made the decision to work with us. And then we position ourselves as being so different. Absolutely. That they just are like, yes, let's sign.
That's awesome. And so whenever you're making videos, I've heard that it makes sense to upload natively to the platform. So instead of sharing your video from YouTube on Facebook, it'll be better to upload it directly to Facebook. I assume you do all of that, right? You upload it to different platforms directly.
Yes, it's something we call video repurposing, and we take our videos and we repurpose them for YouTube, for Facebook, for Instagram, for stories, for reels, and we upload them individually on each site. And here's the deal, though. I call it the 9 C's. You need to commit to consistently producing content correctly, so you can make a connection, so you can convert more clients and customers. Okay.
That's a lot of C's.
It's a lot of C's, but here's the deal is that if you don't correctly or properly distribute the videos, no one's seeing them. So how these algorithms work are Facebook and every algorithm, if I'm interacting with you, Chris, and I'm saying, oh, Chris, I like you and I like your stuff, then Facebook continues to put my stuff in front of you and vice versa. So you want your friends and family to see you, but you also want everyone else to see you. The goal is to get your entire community, people that don't know you, to see you on a regular basis. So when you put an ad spend behind this content, people are seeing you. And even as a brand new agent in a brand new area, like you should be doing this like crazy where you're at. If you want to, you know, you should be doing a ton of video content about your city, like, you know, 10 reasons to move to, you know, Dallas or to Chicago, right? What are the 5 best neighborhoods in Colorado? 5 musts when searching for a home, or five things to avoid when buying in Colorado, or 5 things to consider, right? And you just start creating this content and, you know, talking about contractual terms and escrows and contingencies and the market. It appears that you're doing a lot of business, and perception is reality. When you're producing content, I just had one of my students messaged me a couple of months back. I had talked about her on my podcast, saying that Sue LaFave is her name. She got voted best realtor in her town before she had ever even sold a house. And it wasn't, swear to God. And so she
perception is reality. It's
perception is
so true.
reality. Yeah. So she sends me this video and she's like, I just had my first, you know, quarter. I did over 6 figures, all because of video. And so people like voted her before she even sold a home. Now, of course, she's selling homes, but
right.
And it wasn't like those things where she's like, can you vote for me? She didn't ask anyone to vote for her because she wasn't selling. So yeah.
That's a perfect example right there. It's almost like a chicken and the egg situation, though. I see even outside of real estate, people are like, well, I haven't really done any business, so how do I make videos or content around it? But then you also have to have that content to be the expert and really show that you know what you're talking about, so that people can take that chance on you. But I guess when you're making all the content, the beauty is, if you know what you're talking about, you've done your homework, and now you're creating content, you know what you're talking about. You're not just guessing or making things up. And so you become that perceived expert in their mind.
Yep. And then you start to break down the barriers. And when you can show that you're different, do you do this podcast just audio, or is it video too?
Video as well. Yeah. So you can repurpose content, make snippets, 2 minute.
Yeah, that's so good.
Here's a really cool snippet from that conversation to reel you in to watch the full thing.
Yeah, I know I'd love to do, if I can, is since people can hear it too. Let me show you, if you're okay with it, I want to show you a 3 minutes. So this is a video that I send to people, and it's 17 minutes long. So what I do is I create content on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm trying to attract sellers, so I'll do seller content. Then when they watch the first video, I send them another video about selling. Okay. So they see 2 videos on selling. Then I send them to a landing page that asks them if they'd like a home evaluation. When they ask for that home evaluation, then what I do is, where to go? After they ask for the home evaluation, because they're raising their hand, right? That's marketing. Then what I do is I hand deliver a copy of a home evaluation. So I hand deliver.
That's awesome.
Let me show you. Where to go?
Like to their doorstep, or if they're there in person.
I hand deliver a home evaluation to their doorstep. Then I hand deliver a copy of my marketing plan to them, right? So they get a copy of my marketing plan. This talks all about all the different things I do for them. Then I also hand deliver a copy of my book, What to Expect When Selling Your Shadow Lakes
That's
Home.
perfect.
If you don't live in Shadow Lakes, then I just send you What to Expect When Selling Your East County Home. If you live in East County, if you don't live in East County, you just get a generic one that says What to Expect When Selling Your Home. So I drop those off. See, that's a generic one. Then
so are they the same or are they all different?
They're all the same, different title,
right? So you're kind of just split testing the cover to make it relevant to that person.
Not split testing. So if you live in Deer Ridge or Shadow Lakes, you get the Deer Ridge Shadow Lakes book. If you live in East County, you get the East County book. If you don't live in the county at all, I just give you the generic one.
That's beautiful.
Research shows that the more your content speaks directly to somebody, the more likely it will convert. So I'm trying to be like, oh my God, she wrote a book on how to sell your house in Deer Ridge. My goodness, right? So then for the CMA drop off, we do a bomb video telling them to check their email. Because we did a 3-minute video describing the CMA. So then we go do a video on Zoom. We pull up the CMA. We do a quick video to them. So now they're seeing me in person. They're seeing me review the CMA. Okay. Then I also send them a digital copy of the book, the marketing plan, and the seller guide. And then I do a 17-minute video that talks all about how different I am and unique I am. And I'll show you that. I'm going to share that video with you right now. And people can hear it if you're listening.
Your home deserves it, and your home deserves maximum exposure. We need to expose your home to the thousands, not just the few.
We do this by thinking outside of the box and by using a highly comprehensive digital marketing strategy that we have yet to see any other agents utilize in our area. We focus on innovation, technology, video, and social media. And here's the kicker, and where most agents fail. We use them the right way. Now, what do I mean by the right way? Well, according to the National Association of Realtors, only 16% of agents are using social media. But from my extensive research, we found that less than 1% across the nation are actually using it correctly. Many agents are using the buzz term that they use social media and technology. However, agents who have not been trained in this comprehensive digital marketing strategy are just doing things like posting on their personal page or posting on their business page. But that just is not enough. You see, Facebook is a business and they make their money from people advertising on Facebook. So to properly expose your property, you have to run ad campaigns. This ensures that massive amounts of people actually see your home. Here are just a few examples of what I mean by this. If you look at the number right here, you'll see where it says reach. Well, that's the number of people that are actually seeing this advertisement for this home. Can you imagine the power of having over 132,000 people actually seeing your home online? And here's another example showing 76,000 views. That's a lot, isn't it? We create amazing landing pages of our homes on social media, and we use video when doing so. According to Orion 21, landing pages with video have up to 800% more conversions than the same landing page without a video. Here's another crazy statistic I think you should hear about. According to the National Association of Realtors, 67% of buyers are going to walk through a home that they see online. So you can only imagine how important it is that I expose your home to as many prospective buyers online as I can. Because if 67% of people that see your home are likely to walk through it, then it's my fiduciary obligation to make sure that I expose your home to the masses. Also, we can target your specific home to people both locally and out of the area. This is called geographic detailed targeting. We do this not only on Facebook, but also on various other social media platforms. Here's another example of just a few properties that we advertised, and you can see the amount of hours that people were watching the videos. That's so much more powerful than just doing an open house, which typically only attracts looky-loo buyers and of course your neighbors, right?
So I will definitely, everyone check out that video. And if it's okay with you, Krista, if I can share that link to the Vimeo, that way they can go check that out and just really study it. Cause you are giving us all the behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, ooh, this is good. She posted on Facebook and she promotes it because like you said in that video clip, if you don't have ad spend on there, it's not really pushing to people you don't know. Maybe like your mom likes it or your sibling likes it, but like you want other people in that area and you can target by the region, right? And by like a radius and all of that stuff.
Yes. And they want them to see you over and over again. And then once you see them, like when I show them the video that's 17 minutes long, which I'm not going to give you the whole thing because my students pay me a lot of money to learn how to do that. But
Yeah.
they see like, oh my God, you had 555 hours of watch time on that one video. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And do you want to know why that's so important? Because according to the National Association of Realtors, 67% of buyers will walk through a home that they see online. So as you can see here, we had 555 hours of watch time. We had 132,000 views. And we had 6,400 people click on this one video. We do that for all of our listings. Now, if people are telling you that they're using social media, make sure they show you these type of stats, because unless they've been properly trained in this highly comprehensive digital marketing strategy, they are just getting a few views. If they get over 100, that's amazing. So you want to make sure they've actually been trained and they've invested in their business, because you are worth it, Mr. and Mrs. Seller.
That's amazing, because they're going, if they are actually interviewing multiple people and they're like, hey, what's your social media strategy? And they're like, oh, we'll post it on our business page and we'll share it on our personal page. Like, now you are 10 notches plus above that other person. And I bet no one else is going to say that. Like you said, 16% of agents use social media. What was that stat?
They're not. And then even here in the book, it actually tells them, right? In the book, it tells them what questions to ask. It says, hey, make sure you have them show you, right? Make sure they show you. So there's a whole chapter on digital marketing, and it says, ask these questions, have them show you these things. So what happens is when we do all these things though, like when they see this, something that's done this nicely, they see that I'm an author, they don't even interview anyone else. They just, and if they had other people that they were going to interview, in most cases, they cancel the appointment. So
right. Nobody else does all of this stuff that you do. I mean, I know a lot of top producers and everything in the Houston market. A few have like a book on how to sell your house or whatever. So they might've gone through they probably did coaching with you, to be honest, like the one lady I'm thinking about. And someone else actually just recommended you recently. So it was so cool to see your name pop up, because I'm like, whoa, she's already on my radar, because an agent that I know that I met at a recent event was like, you got to check out Krista Mashore. Her content is amazing. And she's awesome. Killing it. It's in, I believe, the Bay Area or California somewhere. I can't remember the exact market.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. I'm in California too. So she might be, I teach some of my students around our local too,
Yeah, probably so. So I think that's amazing just to hear. You're giving away all the secrets, but like you said, whenever you go to that presentation and your book has all these almost objection things of like, hey, make sure you ask these questions, tell them to show your social media. And that other agent, if they are interviewing multiple people, I mean, chances are they don't do all that stuff, and you're going to be a winner every single time. So you're really solidifying, like, you're giving them so much value up front for free, just from the CMAs, the in-person delivery, the book. It's a done deal, right? You are getting that client.
Yeah, we are. And you actually, you attract a higher price commission too, because agents are commodities. They're all doing the same thing. I don't mean this to be mean, but it's true. Like they're all doing the same. When you stand out, it's kind of like, we never thought Blockbuster would ever go out of business. We love Blockbuster, right? Until Netflix came along and showed a better, more efficient, easier, more convenient way. Mm-hmm. This is similar to that. It's taken the traditional approach that agents have been doing for years and years, and it's knocking it off of its feet, because it's doing what everyone knows is more important. Everyone knows online marketing is so valuable, but most agents, they don't invest in their business, and they have to understand that this is a business. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. I know somebody who spent $275,000 on a coffee cart, to like one of those coffee carts that you do outside, to sell a cup of coffee for $5, and they invested that much. Agents get, oh my God, you spent what? I'm like, yeah. And this is so crazy too. Like this month alone, we're doing over $50 million in home sales, right? We're going to generate a significant amount of money. Do the math, right? And my friend Anissa, she's a dentist. She's in my inner circle category kings with Russell Brunson. She told me that most dentists make around 150,000, 200,000 if they're doing really, really well a year. And we're making that this month, more than that this month. Like we're making awesome. By being an agent, right? So why not invest in your education? There's so much money to be made in real estate. And when you position yourself as the authority, you have a unique selling proposition, you truly stand out amongst the pack, people are going to want to use you. Yes, there's so many of us, but it doesn't matter when you're doing things completely different than everyone else, right? You want to you're getting a nose job, you're going to the nose doctor, you're getting a brain surgery, you're not going to the general practitioner, you're going to the brain surgeon. Most people are just general. We need to be the specialist.
Absolutely. And when you're the specialist, you can also charge those premium prices. You won't get asked to cut your commission versus the flat fee listing broker who's like, hey, all we do is put it on the MLS with photos that you provide us. Like, we won't even pay for the picture sometimes, right? There's a lot of companies that do that. And so it's no wonder that obviously they're going to only have a $300 or $500 fee versus here where you are earning all of that commission and more, maybe even higher in some cases, because you're going to get a better result overall through your actual marketing strategies.
Well, and let me just show you like this. This is a good example of that. So like, this is an example of a listing we just sold. We got $87,000 more than a comparable, right? We sent this out.
Amazing.
Here's another one, $92,000 more, sold $90,000 over. And then we show here we sold this one for $95,000 more than the same exact model match. And the reason we're able to do that is because we are marketing differently. Now that's helping the seller refers me, the neighbors all see it. Then I market that, I target that on Facebook. I do video content on that, and it's just people aren't doing this. So when I can show them, we bring these with us to our listing appointments, when I can show people this and they're like, this is why I hire you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm just like shaking my head here. Like, man, I haven't done any of these things. I think you kind of asked me, hey, what do you do for social media? I kind of am that first. If I was competing against you, you would win the listing, let's just say. But I definitely am learning so much.
I can teach you. I teach agents this stuff. You should be investing in this because you do a lot of business. I can help you crush it right now where we're at.
Absolutely. And I mean, the energy that you have, I like to think of myself as someone who has a lot of energy and connects well with other people as well. But this is like that, how you get that edge on everyone else by really dominating. And like you said, one of your coaching clients, they had top realtor award and they hadn't even done any deals yet because of the perception.
Yeah. So marketing, when you market yourself differently, you attract a higher price commission, you attract more listings. It's like it works in full circle.
Yeah. And like you said there, wherever, the neighbors see it and then they send deals over to you and then you market that material. It's just like what you said on your other podcast recently that you had just released, is that 1 turns to 5, 5 turns to 10, it compounds. And that's how you become that expert. And it just continues to grow, right? Over time, that person gives you a referral, that person gives you 2, those referrals give you referrals. And one quote that somebody told me on my podcast was that listings make babies. I know you said you had all listings, right? So listings bring in buyers and more leads, and you have open houses, and it's a lot more, I guess, return than maybe just a buyer. While we love working with buyers in many cases, you're going to all these different properties, whereas people are coming to you when you own those listings, the higher value to most real estate agents.
Yeah. And let's be honest, I haven't done an open house in over 10 years.
Right.
And I tell the sellers, the reason why I don't do open houses is because they don't work. You attract looky-loos in their neighbors and people who are not qualified. And they are like, oh my gosh. And I show them, this is what works. And this is why you do this. Right. And they're just like, you're the only one that said that. Oh my gosh. And they're just so, you just saw 3 minutes of that video, but it's 17 minutes long. It's all about just everything that we do that's different than what everyone else is doing and saying. And it's like, people watch that before I go to the listing, they watch that video. We send it prior, along with dropping off the marketing plan, dropping off the book prior to the listing appointment as well. By the time we get there, they're just like, okay, we love you. Where do we sign? And what do we do now? I don't have to go through the presentation.
That's the beauty, regardless, for everyone listening, like whatever industry you're in, whatever business you're in. I mean, if you create this kind of presentation, especially for service-based businesses that are local, you make content around existing businesses, you interview people, you become the known expert, you become friends with all the business owners and like those who own the restaurants, you throw parties over there that you sponsor for your previous clients. Like it's a no-brainer. You are going to win over the competition who maybe just tries to cold call their friends and family for referrals and then they don't do any of this stuff. You're really standing out among the whole pack.
Well, yeah, not only that, but like, people are forgetting about you, right? You need to make it so that you're unforgettable. I mean, how many of us have gone to Home Depot and we see a past client, they're like, oh my God, I just sold my house. And you're like, what? Like, you love me. And you're like, they forgot about you, right? We have to make sure that we're standing out. We're unforgettable. In my city, and actually like in East County, there's not one person I can guarantee you that doesn't know my name. Like I make it so it's impossible for me not to be known. I have an omnipresence online. So they're seeing me online. They're seeing me in their Facebook feed. They're seeing me on the freeway. They're seeing my signs everywhere. They're seeing my flyers. I'm everywhere. So when we ask people, because we always track it, where'd you see me? They always say, we see you everywhere, right? Because we're going where people are. People are online. There's over I think it's 75 billion hours, billion hours of content. 75 billion people a day go to YouTube. And yet only less than 6% of agents are marketing on YouTube. Most of them aren't even doing it correctly.
Right.
The average person spends over 2.2 hours a day on Facebook, but yet nobody's doing ads on Facebook, right? They don't want to spend the money. I mean, we're you got to spend money to make money. And we spend money to make a lot more, and I don't mean to be cocky, but it works.
Yes, it absolutely does. And I have a question just from the real estate, hat. And maybe some people who are not in real estate who are listening may be like, oh, I don't know all those intricacies of the business. But for real estate, whenever you're marketing listings, for everyone listening, I'll kind of explain just a little bit of the backstory is you kind of almost want to market the property and not share the address where they can go on the MLS and kind of cut you out. I always see some sort of lead like, hey, here's a beautiful property in this neighborhood, fill in the form or, insert call to action to schedule a showing. And that's when you capture their info, you provide the address and, hey, let's meet you on Wednesday and show you that property to maybe capture a lead. Do you have a specific call to action that you have for when you're marketing these properties? Is it just to fill in the form or something or call you?
So for the listings, we actually show it because we don't want the sellers to get upset by that, right? Yes, by not putting it out there. But when we're trying to generate like a buyer lead, we'll do like a video about buying. Then we'll do like buyer tips. Then we'll say, hey, would you like to go to our buyer seminar, our virtual buyer seminar? Would you like to have an open house list? Or would you like to have, you watched the video on a four bedroom, 2-bath house with a pool. Would you like to have a list of 4-bedroom, 2-bath houses with a pool? Right. We don't start with the list building, we end with it. And most people start with the list building, and that's why their marketing doesn't work, because you have to develop the relationship first, gain their trust, offer value, serve, not sell. You need to serve before you sell. If you serve before you sell, you will sell more. And that's the whole idea behind being a community market leader, is that you're developing a relationship with people. You're breaking in their barriers. They're getting to know you. They're much more likely to click and much more likely to give you their contact information because you've taken the time to get to know them without just saying. It's kind of like, if you meet somebody at a party, you don't just go jump in bed. You say, you date, you call, you text, you go to lunch, then you go to bed, right? Right. So we got to date our community and flirt with our community a little bit.
Absolutely. So many good things. And I love how specific you are. Like, hey, you give a little bit of information. If they're interested in that, then you give them that, you give the next step. If it's something else, you give them that. And so you're really making sure to diversify the content based on what it is that they want to see. And even with your book, hey, how to, sell a house in this area or that area, or here's the generic one, because people love to see that you're the expert in that thing. And it does resonate more whenever they're like, hey, I live there and she wrote a book about this area, right? That's going to click more than how to just sell a house anywhere. So you're getting very, very targeted and showing people what it is that they want to see.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That probably took some time to develop, I would imagine, right? Because when you first started, you didn't have any of this.
Oh gosh, I've been doing this for 20 years. And so, for example, just the marketing plan, we spent over $10,000, developing the marketing plan. My book was over $15,000 to have written, because it's not a cheesy book. It's a well-written book by myself, with my experience.
Like copywriting and
yes. It's like, it was expensive, but you don't ever want to put something out there that's not top quality, because it's everything you put out is a representation of how you do business. Right. So, you can buy those cheesy ghost written books that like are written just super generic. Don't even waste your money or time. It doesn't help, right? You want to like do things correctly. We actually let our students co-author with us. So my students are able to be co-author with me on this, and we personalize it to them with their information. I'm a co-author, so they can utilize all my stuff because, I'm co-author with them. So that helps a lot, yeah.
Absolutely. So I know you provide all those resources to your students. So anyone who's in real estate, definitely be sure to go check that out. But even for those who aren't, we're learning so much here on this call. I love how you're showing the videos and behind the scenes and telling us the exact secret sauce. So if you gave all that away for free, I can only imagine what your coaching students learn on a daily and weekly basis, right? So
so is this podcast just for realtors, or is it for other people?
It's for other people. I guess, I'm sorry, I should have specified that as well.
That's so cool. We're launching this same process to local professionals. So we're doing it for we have financial advisor, divorce attorneys, insurance agent, mortgage officers.
This applies to any business where people have sales, totally generate leads. They got to have an expertise. And I'm sure you know Dan Kennedy. I know you said you're in Russell Brunson's inner circle. My CPA actually in Houston, he's a big Dan Kennedy guy in the mastermind and all that. And he does something very similar in terms of once someone signs up and does the call, he'll ship like a little goodie bag to their house with like 3 books that he's written to show like, whoa, he's the expert, right? So it's not even a question of, oh, this other CPA who isn't even on Google Maps versus this one who's sending that package and explained everything and gave me all the information up front, right? You're creating, I wrote this down, serve, not sell. When you're coming out of service and you're adding so much value up front, it's just a no-brainer when they're like, well, we've already gotten so much out of this for free, like I have out of this call, and our audience has gotten. Imagine what they're going to get when they actually do work with you.
Yeah, the brain says like, man, if she's doing all these things before I even sign with her, and before I'm going to just imagine what it's going to look like. And I tell them, hey, that's exactly right. Like you can expect this kind of service the entire time we're working together. My goal is to get a 5-star review from you when I'm done, because we're just going to knock your socks off. So let's sign.
Let's start. I mean, that is amazing, because so many people I see like the scarcity mindset type stuff where they're like, how come you're giving away so much for free? Or you should charge for this up front, or at least catch an email address or whatever. But whenever it's weird how it works, because when you come from all this value, you give away so much for free, the person's guard was let down and they're like, well, it's obviously Krista's the choice here because look what she did for free. And you're just being a good person and really honestly wanting to help them. And it results in bringing more business and more impact overall.
Yes. And of course I want their business too. I want to help them and I want their business. I want both.
Absolutely. And it's okay to do both. Like you can make money and help them and solve problems all at the same time. So that's another thing for everyone to kind of overcome, is like, oh, how much money should I charge type thing. Especially it's a little more standard, I guess, the commissions in real estate, but like high ticket sales or coaching courses, or even how you've priced, I'm sure many of your coaching mastermind members and everything, like when someone's getting started, it's very difficult for them to justify like, is this too expensive? Can they afford it? Am I really adding this much value? But as you continue to do this more and more and you get better and better, like you said, hey, let's sign, I'm going to take care of you. It's going to be like this the whole way. You have that confidence because you've done it so many times before. So for everyone who's hesitant to start, just start, and it's going to get easier over time. You said you've been doing this for 20 years, correct?
Yes. Anything can be learned, anything can be trained. Some people might think it's hard, but it's not hard. It's just different. It's just different. That's Chris, can I give them a link to my book? Is that okay?
Yes, feel free.
Okay, I wrote a book on this, and I've got one for real estate, so we can give you the real estate book, and I've got one that's not. It's for local businesses and professionals. It's called the Ultimate Digital Marketing Playbook for dominating your local profession. So I can give this to you. I'll give you the audio copy and the digital copy so they could look it up.
Perfect.
And thank you so much for having me. I totally appreciate it. You're awesome, guys. Thanks for listening. And I love your energy. You just
likewise
exude so much, and the positivity is going to help you sell more and make more money. Enthusiasm sells, confidence sells, and you definitely have that. So thank you
so much, Krista. It's been awesome having you on the show. I mean, where can our audience go to check out those resources? I mean, is it just your website, KristaMashore.com? Is that the best place?
Yes, you can also go to KristaMashore.com/2 days live. It's a 2-day live event that I do. That's virtual. It's $97. We give you tons of activity. I have one specifically for real estate and one specific for non-realtors. That one, the non-realtor one isn't until April, but if you wanted to go to the real estate one, I mean, all this stuff is applicable. Just when I say real estate, you say, financial planning, you just change the thing.
Right.
Again, it's KristaMashore.com/2 days live. And I'll get you that link, and I'll get you the other stuff too as well.
Perfect. Well, Krista, this has been amazing. Thank you once again for jumping on the show and sharing so much value coming from that place of contribution. And I look forward to having everyone go check out those resources and checking it out myself as well.
I so appreciate you, Chris. You're amazing. Thanks for having me, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Krista. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being a listener to the show and for checking out my message. If you've been here for a while, I'm especially grateful for you. But if you're new here, thank you once again for being a listener. Just wanted to let you know, I help people buy, sell, or rent real estate across the nation in the US. I probably could even help you across the world, but it just gets a little more difficult with time zones and setting up times to chat. If you have any questions at all, shoot me a DM on Instagram. My handle is chrisbello_, or you can also go to my website, chrisbello.com/real estate. Again, that is chrisbello.com/real estate. Happy to help any way that I can. And thank you once again for being a listener.